and welcome to the channel. This is the Nissan EV Owners UK Group and I'm Paul Eden. In this episode I'm going to talk about the proposed merger of Nissan and Honda, what led to it and what it might mean for our customers. Nissan is facing a crisis. According to its financial reports in 2024, the company's profit margin has dropped significantly, with net profits falling 94% to 19.2 million yen. At the end of 2024, Nissan's market capitalization, essentially the value of its shares, was only $9 million. Not only that, the company doesn't have much cash, perhaps 12 months worth, and it's been selling some of its Renault shares to raise money. Nissan's problems first began to show in the Chinese markets. In 2017, they sold 1.5 million vehicles, beating Toyota's 1.3 million. By 2023, Nissan sold less than 800,000 in China. The usually fast-selling Qashqai and X-Trail were selling less than a quarter of their earlier levels, and the Sylphy sedan, which we don't get in the UK, was struggling too. Dealers cut prices, often by as much as 30%. Margins disappeared and profits shrank. Nissan saw the EV trend in China better than some and launched Aria there. But Chinese buyers thought it too expensive even after its price was halved. Despite your reporters' entreaties, Nissan have not sold their popular K-car Sakura outside Japan. This I feel is a mistake. Once you have a car developed and released, you should sell it hard and you should sell it everywhere. Nissan has failed to capitalise on technologies it was formerly at the forefront of, not just EVs. ProPilot first saw the light of day in 2015, but is only now being widely deployed to its vehicles. Likewise, e-Power, Nissan's petrol-fueled EV range, is underselling compared to hybrids from Toyota and Honda. Let me introduce you to the other protagonist in this story. Terry Gou founded Foxconn in Taipei, Taiwan in 1974, and it opened its first mainland China plant in 1988. Make no mistake, Foxconn does most of its manufacturing in the People's Republic and has manufactured components and products for Nintendo, Xbox, Intel, PlayStation and many other household names. 2/3 of the world's iPhones are made by Foxconn. It wants to move into EVs, however it has little expertise in motor manufacturing, despite partnering with Pininfarina, and development of its in-house EVs is said to be progressing poorly, if at all. Still keen, Foxconn approached Renault with a view to buying its stake in Nissan. Renault, apparently unperturbed by Nissan liquidating its shares, gave Foxconn a guarded welcome. Remember that in both Japan and France, government holds significant stakes in many of their manufacturing industries. The Japanese government, specifically the Ministry of Economy, Trade and Industry, METI, was less impressed with Foxconn's interest, and historically they've taken a dim view of Chinese economic power in the region, and the Japanese mega banks that own Nissan stock concurred. In short, Foxconn spooked the Japanese government and banking sector into having Honda swipe right on the Nissan profile. Honda don't appear to be unwilling suitors. While their financial position isn't typically that of a company ripe for a merger, they seem to be taking the clear-eyed view that creating the third biggest automaker in the world is something worth doing, particularly as the deal currently mooted puts Honda very much in charge of the new companies. And what of Renault? It would be fair to say that Renault have been the least enthusiastic partner in the alliance, though they've enjoyed the new vehicle platforms that have come to them. Renaming all the platforms to obfuscate their alliance provenance seems a little petulant when they've used them to make some really decent EVs like Zoe, 4, 5 and Twingo. Existing Renault Group alliance agreements appear to be holding with the new Nissan Micra EV slated for build alongside the Renault 5, with which it shares an alliance developed platform at the Renault plant at Douai. But what is Honda going to get out of this deal? It's clear that Nissan gets survival and Honda are not doing this out of altruism. I think I know what Honda wants. Nissan have a sizable and fairly profitable presence in the US in what is known as large class vehicles that Honda just doesn't have. We don't get them here in the UK. These vehicles are the Nissan Titan, Nissan Armada and Infiniti QX80. In other words, the full-size SUV and pickup truck sector. Honda would dearly like to have some of this, one of the most lucrative vehicle market segments in the world, and not having to develop a whole new Honda division by buying up Nissans would seem to be the solution. Talk of Honda and Nissan merging isn't new. It's been whispered about in the banks, corridors and lawyers' monoliths for years, but now the Japanese government has given its blessing, and Renault and the French government appear to have given a Gallic shrug and looked the other way. Métis will not allow one of their world-renowned manufacturing megaliths to fail, and they clearly have the ability and the will to put Honda and Nissan together. The MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, that broke cover just before Christmas, expects to establish a joint holding company by mid-2025, and financial independence of both would end effectively in 2026. They would share everything: marketing, purchasing, research and development, manufacturing and platforms. Honda's car-making history is one of fierce independence, making cars different from the norm. Nissan's output is perhaps less distinctive, though better value. Nissan also brings scale to the party. They have more manufacturing capacity than Honda, and don't forget, Nissan know EVs, and that's where the future is going. This merger is going to happen because the alternative doesn't bear thinking about. I met with Andrew Till, Mr. EV, while we were filming for another segment at Critzer Gatwick, and I asked him for his thoughts on the Honda-Nissan merger.
My thoughts are, well, first of all, Nissan and Honda. I've got really good vibe from both Nissan and Honda, just based on the cars that I've driven or seen in the past.
I've owned Hondas before, and they've all been great.
Everyone I know that's had a Honda absolutely loves them. Solid, reliable, you know. They look pretty cool as well. The Honda E was amazing, but Nissan and Honda are very similar companies, I think, in that they haven't a clue really about what to do with EVs. So I just think they had everything there. They could have been world leaders in EVs, but they didn't know what to do. Partly maybe because of Carlos Ghosn.
The departure of Carlos and then of well, I say departure, perhaps, and then of Andy Palmer, who I've interviewed on the channel. That was really the beginning of the end for Nissan even.
I don't know why it shouldn't be so difficult. Now Renault, this is where it gets interesting, because of course Renault are making fantastic cars now, fantastic EVs, and they've found their mojo. But a
lot of those cars are on essentially a Nissan platform.
Exactly. So why is it that Renault can do it and Nissan can't? And that comes down to management.
Thank you to Andrew Till for his thoughts from a noisy cafeteria at Critzer Gatwick. Thank you all for watching. If you'd like to leave a comment below, I promise I'll read and reply. And if you'd like to like and subscribe as well, that would be lovely. Thank you all. See you again soon.